Alright guys, so here we are for part 3. As you can see, I've already kind of sifted through the bag for some of the stuff I want to use. I think these are the two main pieces I'm going to use, but I'll show you. You can see a lot of the detail and stuff that's just naturally on here, especially the more weathered it is, the better it is, because it kind of flakes. I don't wash them. As you can see on here, it's got some dirt stuff on there. I just leave that on there, glaze over the top, gives you a great realistic look, and a great natural look, I should say. Both realistic and natural. Sorry, I have a tendency of rambling and I don't mean to. Okay, let's get some of this dust off of here. Okay, so as you can see, we're all secure, glued up here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, actually, where's my, these work great for this. We're just going to trim. Doesn't have to be precise because we can come back around. And clean that up. Alright, there we go guys. So I kind of sped that up for you because it's monotonous. It only literally took me like a couple minutes to do it, but I doubt you guys wanted to sit here and listen to sand sounds for that couple of minutes. Alright, so now that we have that done, this one I'm going to do a little bit different than I did on the other one, because I had laid the wood down and then I did all the sand stuff. This time what I'm going to do, and this is one of the tips that I can give you, is because I do plan on using some the scenic water, you do want a nice seal around it. So I am just going to do a glob of glue in there. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate this around. So that it naturally just gets a nice basic bead of glue in there. And you can't see it, but there's a glob in there that's swirling around. Next I'm going to get my baking soda ready. And you may have to, depending on how much you put in, just add some. You always take a toothpick just to speed it along. Normally I won't, because I'm not filming it. And despite the fact that I know that I enjoy and can sit through while modeling or so forth other people's videos while they banter on, I sometimes get sidetracked and I'll go on because I forget that a lot of people, they don't get to the meat. Okay, so what I'm doing, you can see I've got some in there, and I'm just turning the piece while swirling the baking soda in there. We'll tap it out. If you saw my past video, you'll see I use this technique a lot for filling gaps and adding details and texture. I love it. It's inexpensive, cheap, and great. Okay, so now you can probably see in there that there's still some in there. I'm not real concerned with that. But so now basically you have a resin bead inside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a layer of glue in here. Swirl it all around. Okay. Cap that back up. I don't know. You can probably see if there. I got a nice layer in there. We're just gonna scoop it. Just let it sit for a little bit. Take our brush. I always take my brush and wipe off excess. You can just get dollar store or something, a cheap makeup powder brush. Those work perfect. Okay. So now we have that. we're going to take our muddy brown, and as soon as I find what I did with the brush I was using earlier, I don't think it was that one. Here, we'll use this one. And that's one of the things, you want to make sure that the paint is dry. Or not the paint, the glue. Sorry, getting sidetracked there. So you don't ruin the brush. I have for this, I'm using just an old brush I use for putting on my clear coats, things like that. That's just a sloppy. So what we're doing, we're just brushing that in there. Again, this is the Miniature Muddy Brown. This is to give what's going to be our swampy texture, or swampy water, that grimy look underneath it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Don't even care if there's bubbles. You're never going to see the surface. Now you can do a recess where everything's down, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, so for that, we're going to have to let that dry for a little while. I usually let it sit for a couple hours. And what's great is if you're doing this and you have a lot of figures, like a whole army that you're doing, that you can do from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then by the time you're done with the last one, you can go back and, let's say, place your wood, and place your wood, place your plate, and then add a layer of your water and your light lichen, I don't even know how to pronounce it, or your sand, or whatever it is, and just keep going through that, and it'll fly by. But this is just for demonstration purposes for you guys. Okay, so what can I do while waiting for this? Well, here, let's do this while waiting. So I have my gloss varnish here. And I'm actually going to wait to gloss that until I can glue it in, because I don't want the varnish on the underside at all. Okay, so that's it for that part. And then once this is dry, I will come back and show you guys another part.